Hello, Veronica. It's Mr. Shawn here again to read another story. I hope you're enjoying the stories. I hope you're getting them. And as I've been doing them and enjoying reading them to you, just a different way of reading and helping you to progress in English and reading and learning. So maybe Mrs. Loudin is sending home some work for you to do, to try, and just to keep you busy. Excuse me. Well, let's read today's story. Today's story is Play-Doh, written by Anne Harth. Play-Doh. Let's see what Play-Doh is. There's a product that has a different spelling you can do some fun stuff with. So let's see what this is. Kira loved Play-Doh. She rolled it, she patted it, she punched it, and she shaped it. At school, there was blue Play Doh and red Play Doh. Every day, there was a different color. Kira loved them all. What color does that look like? Purple or yellow? No, kind of looks brown to me, I think. Play Doh is kind of squishy stuff that you can make all kinds of different shapes and different things with. It's kind of fun to play with. If you have them at school, you can make your own. My wife made her own for our son, and he enjoyed it. All right. I wish I had Play Doh at home, she said to her teacher, Mrs. Peck. Where do you buy it? Mrs. Peck laughed. I don't buy it, I make it. Can you show me how? Kira said. Yeah, you can make it at home. Like I said, my wife made it. There's different recipes out there to do it, and it's pretty easy. It doesn't require too many ingredients, and your mom might even have them at home. The next day, Kira walked into the classroom. Good morning, everyone, said Mrs. Peck. Today, we will make Play Doh. Kara, will you help? Wow. So did Mrs. Loudon ever ask you to help when she was doing demonstrating things? Kind of nice, kind of fun to help. Kind of sometimes it's scary to be up there in front of everybody, but once you start doing something, it's kind of fun to do. You ignore the other people and just do what's going on. Kira stood next to Mrs. Peck. Everything we need is on this table, Mrs. Peck said. We have flour, salt, oil, water, and food coloring. Kira, please put 2 cups of flour into the big bowl. So you probably have flour and salt and oil and water at home. Maybe not the food coloring, but you don't need to have it. What do you think food coloring does? Yep, it makes the Play Doh a different color, but you don't have to have it. Kira measured the flour. She dumped it into the bowl. 2 cups of flour, she said. Next, we need 1 cup of salt, said Mrs. Peck. Kira measured the salt. She dumped it into the bowl. Mrs. Peck handed Kira a spoon. Next, we'll mix the flour and the salt. Yep, you're going to mix those together. That's an awful lot of salt. You have to have a big container of salt to get a whole cup, but you may have it. Kira mixed them carefully. Next, we need 1 tablespoon of flour and 1 cup of water. Kira put them both into the bowl. See, you're stirring it up. You have to be careful because that's a lot of ingredients. So maybe you have all that stuff. Now stir it well, Mrs. Peck said. Kira stirred until her arm was tired. It looks like white Play Doh, she said. Yeah, not quite white, but excuse me, with the flour that makes it white. Unless you have a different colored flour, sometimes there are different kinds of flour, but yeah, it gets really stiff or not quite hard, but it's certainly not liquidy like you would when you make a cake or muffins or something like that. It gets pretty firm. What color shall we make? Mrs. Peck held up the food coloring. Blue, Ahmed said. Red, Rena added. What color does Kira have in her hand? Does it look like purple or blue? It looks like maybe red to me. I have an idea, said Mrs. Peck, and she poked a hole in the Play-Doh. She put in 5 drops of blue food coloring and 5 drops of red food coloring. Squish it all up, Kira. Hmm. So she's mixing red and blue together. Do you know what color red and blue make? Let's find out. Kira squished the Play Doh. She rolled it and patted it. She punched it and shaped it. Kira's eyes grew big. The children in the classroom all smiled as the white Play Doh turned a beautiful shade of purple. Yeah, that looks purple to me. So, what colors do red and blue make? Yep, purple. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Peck. I can't wait to make Play Doh at home, Kira said. All right. So maybe you could make it at home too. Maybe you ask your mom after you read this story. So, what does Kara learn to make? What color is the Play Doh Kara makes? What ingredients are used to make the Play Doh? Why does Mrs. Peck make Play Doh? All right, so what does Kira learn to make? Well, it's the title of our story, Play Doh. So, what color does she make? Remember? Let's go back here. It was a beautiful shade of yellow. No, purple. Yep. All right. So, what ingredients does Kira use to make the Play Doh? Let's go back here. All right. So, do you remember flour, salt, oil, water, and food coloring? Again, you don't have to do the food coloring, it would just be white. So, let's see what you need. So, 2 cups of flour and 1 cup of salt. And you mix those two together in the bowl. And then you mix 1 tablespoon of oil and 1 cup of water together. And then you stir all of that together until it gets really firm, like Play Doh does. So maybe you can try it at home. So, why does Mrs. Peck make Play Doh? Well, because it's expensive when you buy it in the store. So, it's cheaper to make, but it's also fun to make when you do it yourself. So, you can enjoy making Play Doh. Hope you can do that at home because it's fun. All right, Veronica, that's the story for today. That was a pretty good one. Learn to make something today. Hopefully, you can do that. Hopefully, you want to ask your mom that you have those ingredients at home and try it. All right, Veronica, until next time, take care. Bye bye.